Hello, everyone, and welcome into another episode of Sports Betting by Dummies. I'm your host, Patty Parlays, and joining me, as always, the voice of God, the Green Goblin himself, Dizz. Dizz, welcome in.
Hey, thanks, Patty. I appreciate it. Juice for a football Friday.
Back
Absolutely.
to back to the old days, just me and you here, bub. What's gonna happen?
Dude, I don't know, and it feels like it's been like forever since we've had a podcast. We last had one on Monday, and it feels like it's been a long work week, and so I'm glad to kind of get back on the horse.
Absolutely, a long week it was, but you know how you get rid of a long week is with a bunch of winners on Friday and Saturday and Sunday.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you may be wondering, we are missing a face that we normally see on here. Connor is unfortunately down with the sickness, so T's and P's. Hopefully, he starts feeling better. We need him back in here for what time we have left with him. But nonetheless, Diz, do you want to start with the typical football Friday, or do you want to start with college football?
Let's start with typical football Friday, just because most of my best bets are actually college football championship games. So let's go football Friday.
Okay. I will start off with my favorite, and that is the Dolphins -6.5 versus the Giants. To be honest, again, I did not like a lot of favorites this week. The Dolphins have won four straight, and I think the Giants are just trying to get to the end of the season intact and just kind of surviving. Um, Also, I didn't realize this, but Danny Dimes is not playing for the Giants this week. So I think the Dolphins win
So
by
when
7 easily.
when was that announced? When was that announced? Was that announced like today? Because I got them at 4.5 this morning.
I think it was announced today.
That's fantastic. Did you drop an episode notes that I didn't read?
No.
Okay, this is my favorite as well. Hate to spoil it. You said it. Dolphins have won four straight, and I might get laughed at here, but Dolphins have the easiest remaining schedule the rest of the way, except for their last two are the Titans, which at that point they may have already won the AFC South and they've been beat up all year. They may be trying to get healthy, may rest some guys, and then the Patriots, same exact thing. So I think the Dolphins might make the playoffs. I might get laughed at, but they at least have the schedule to make a push, and I think they're going to dominate. They've been dominating teams, not all bad teams either. They beat the Ravens a couple weeks back, so I'm riding the Dolphins as well. 4.5 is a Vegas number, which I guess Pat got it at 6.5. Danny Dimes isn't playing. What I like to do with that Vegas number is just maybe tease it down. Let's make sure we bet on this game because the Miami is my favorite. But to counter that ugly Vegas number of 4.5, let's put it in a tease. But I'm with you on favorite.
Love it. Then what do you have for your favorite underdog then, Diz?
I got the Washington football team plus 1.5 against the Raiders. Now, I will just clarify that's not a big spread. So my favorite underdog is technically Washington football team money line. I believe the value alone is plus 112. Heineke's a dog. They got more to fight for than the Raiders, and I just think the Raiders are. They're coming off a big win. I know you like to bet against teams after a big win, but I'm absolutely loving Heineke, and I'm loving the football team, and I think they have more to fight for than the Raiders at this point.
Well, Diz, that is also my favorite underdog this week.
Oh shit!
Washington's won three straight. The Raiders will be without Waller. And the Raiders have lost 3 out of 4, including once to the Giants. So I love the football team and the points and even money line too here.
Love it.
Let's see if we can go 4 for 4 here, Diz. So my favorite over is the Chargers Bengals over 49.5. I
That is
don't.
not my favorite over, but go ahead.
Okay. I don't actually know who will win this game. Both these teams are terribly inconsistent. And if you bet on them one week, then the next week they will look like the best team in the league while they lost the week that you bet on them. But both teams can score, and I think both defenses have left something to be desired. So I'm taking the over 49.5.
I don't know what to think about the Chargers anymore, man. Bengals defense has been pretty good of late too, so this one definitely caught my attention, but it was not my favorite.
But Diz, we both know that the Chargers are that team that looked absolutely terrible last week, and then this week they're going to come out and put up 40 points.
That is probably accurate.
And the Bengals put up 40 points last week on the Steelers, and I think the Steelers' defense is better than the Chargers' defense. So,
Good point. It's a good point.
what do you like for your over, Diz?
I like Bucks Falcons over 50.5. I think both of these teams can score points. And we saw the Bucks defense give up a lot of passing yards to Carson Wentz and the Colts last week. So I look at two offenses that are going to put up points. Bucks defense, they have the best front seven, no doubt about it. But the Colts passed on them pretty easy, and I know they forced some turnovers, but the Colts were still able to put up a lot of points. I think the Falcons will too, but I still think the Buccaneers will dominate. So at that point, the over has to hit, right?
Yeah, and I wanted to look and see what, because I know these teams played earlier on in the year. Earlier it was week number 2. The final score of that game was 48-25.
Wow.
You would have to imagine that you would see similar results in this game, and I think the points will be flowing.
Yeah. I agree.
All right, and then Diz, if you had to take an under, which under would you take?
Yeah, so I'm actually liking this. I haven't taken it yet. You're gonna have to really do some convincing here for me, but really loving Chiefs Broncos under 47. This isn't one that you see and you get super excited about. Like this wasn't my initial thought, but I heard after a week off and heard from Warren Sharp that I don't know. I'm just after a bye, but
Okay,
have only
what?
hit the over 6 of 22 times. Did you lose me?
Well, it's super weird. I'm getting like delay or like 2 different audio
6
versions of you.
If you bet the under, that's so we've kind of seen low at a better spot. Patty,
You there?
you got me better?
Yes.
Sweet.
Give us your reasoning behind the Chiefs and Broncos under.
Yeah, so Warren Sharp had this stat that games after a bye, the under has hit 16 of 22 times. So offenses are really slow after a week off. And that kind of caught my attention. And I don't think I'm going to take it, but if you're going to take an under, Chiefs may look a little rusty after a bye. They've looked a little rusty all season, to be honest. 47's a lot of points, especially for a Broncos team that can struggle offensively. So I liked that one a lot.
I don't hate it. I like that that stat that you mentioned. I do think the only real concern here is the Chiefs end up looking like the Chiefs of old and end up putting up 42 points on their own. That's the real only concern here.
That could happen.
I do like where your head's at. So for my under, I went 49ers Seahawks under 45.5 points. The Seahawks are 9-1-1 to the under this season. That is absolutely insane. And then the 49ers will be without their best offensive player this season in Deebo Samuel. And so I think this could definitely be a low-scoring affair, especially because it's also in the division.
I like it. The Seattle 49ers game really really caught my attention. I really want to bet on it. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet. This under may be a place I go, but I'm hesitant to take unders.
I'll
But
say I'll believe it when I see it.
yeah, I don't know. But I mean, your stats don't lie there. So
All right. Cool. Let's run through the rest of these games real quick. Diz, Colts, Texans, anything there? Colts are 10-point favorites.
too many points. As a fan, I'm scared this screams Tyrod Taylor pops off.
Mm-hmm.
Colts lose their playoff chances.
Yeah.
Hard Knocks is going on. The episodes have been really good and positive. I don't know. It's just, I have like a feeling like maybe I'll put a buck on like Houston, or they're probably like plus 300 or plus 400 or something. But yeah, just screams a game that doesn't make any sense. I hope the Colts take care of business, but 10 points is way too much.
Yep, agreed. Cardinals, Bears, Cardinals 7.5-point favorites.
I hate taking favorites at that big of a number, but I don't know what to think of the Bears, man. Like, their coach has a noose around his neck, like, job-wise. I don't know how you can coach like that. I don't know how your players can get behind the season they've had and the coach that they're going to lose. I don't know. I'm going to stay away. If I had to take a side, I'd roll Cardinals minus 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5 seems light for for a 9-2 Cardinals team going up against a 4-7 Bears team.
Well, it's at Soldier Field though, right? So the weather probably plays a factor.
It is at Soldier Field, but I don't think the weather is going to be that big of a factor. But
Gotcha.
We'll see. Vikings, Lions. Vikings getting 7.5 points. I really like the Lions here.
I don't know. I was really high on the Vikings until Kirk Cousins tried to take the snap under the wrong guy. I don't know if you saw that. That was hysterical. I don't know. This is just a stay away. Lions fight hard, and they've covered more games than they should have. But I don't know. I'm a little spooked. I'm just staying away. It's just a gross game. Like it's an NFC North. Like, what are we doing? Why are we watching this?
Yep. The thing for me, so Dalvin Cook is out for the Vikings. The Lions are covering machines. The Lions won't win. They never win. But giving them more than a touchdown to cover, I think the Lions have that pretty easily.
I guess if I picked a side, it would be Lions plus 7, but I'm not close on that.
Yep. Eagles, Jets. Eagles are 7-point favorites on the road. I'm probably staying away from this game. Just because the Eagles looked really good for a couple of weeks, and then they went out and lost to the Giants last week, and now the Jets. Did the Jets win last week?
No.
Did they cover last week?
I don't know. Who'd they play? The Texans? Maybe they did win.
The Jets beat the Texans last week by a touchdown.
There we go.
So
I think it's less about the Jets and more about Philly. If Philly can run the ball, they're going to cover. But if they're coming from behind, which against the Jets, I don't know if you'll have to be coming from behind.
True.
If anything, it may be close. They may be losing, but it's not going to be like a blowout. Like, what the problem with the Eagles is if they get down multiple scores, they're toast, which is what we've seen recently. But if they can run the ball and control the game, they're going to win the game. 7 points is too much for a team that can't pass. I would lean Jets plus 7, but I'm not going to bet on the Jets ever. So I'm staying away. But if I pick the side, it'd be Jets plus 7 like you.
Jags, Rams, 13-point favorites. What?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I lean Rams. The Rams are one of those teams that can't beat the good teams, but then they crush the bad teams. And I do think the Jaguars are a bad team, so I could see the Rams winning by 3 touchdowns on Sunday.
Well, yeah, I'm with you, and that hurts me to take a favorite by that many points. I think I might just take this in a solo bet. It's not a best bet or anything, but I might just take it. I might take it anyways. The Rams need to bounce back, and the best way to bounce back is to play the Jaguars. So I think they're going to pop, and I think they're going to run up the score because they need to get that offense working. They've looked a little sus since the Robert Woods injury. So I see the Rams popping off and putting up like 50 points, and I just don't think the Jags can do that.
Yep. Ravens, Steelers. Ravens 4.5-point favorites.
I think the Ravens could possibly be the most fraudulent team ever in the NFL. That may be dramatic, but I think they might be like the worst team in that division, and they have the best record in the AFC. I think they lose this game. I'm riding Steelers plus 4.5. I hate that it's in the Vegas zone. Big Ben is like practically on hospice. He's so old out there, but I mean, I don't know. It's almost like a hatred for the Ravens. Maybe I'm shitty, but uh, I don't know. Ravens are not good. I think they're gonna get a reality check. Lamar can't throw the ball, and I don't know. I think Pittsburgh finds a way to win. It's ugly. It's in Pittsburgh, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh wins outright. I may throw them in like an underdog parlay to get some juice.
Nice. I lean with you. I say Steelers plus 4.5. I think the Ravens, we talk about all the time with Connor, the Ravens play to their competition. And I don't think there is a way or a viewpoint where I see the Ravens winning by more than a field goal.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And also, speaking of fraudulent teams, you were talking uh, about the Ravens being one of the most fraudulent teams. It kind of reminds me of the Steelers last year, right? The Steelers started out the season like, I don't know, like 10-0, and everyone's like, they can't keep winning these games. Like they are 10-0, but they might be the worst 10-0 team of all time. And
Right.
they ended up losing like 3 or 4 straight, including the first round of the playoff, right?
Yep.
So that kind of screams this for me in the Ravens, but I do think the Steelers can cover 4.5.
Definitely.
And then the last game, which is on Monday night, which is probably the best game of the week, Patriots at Bills. Bills are 2.5 home favorites. Honestly, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Nope, you got it.
My initial thoughts here, like Pats are the hottest team in the league.
Yep.
Why are they underdogs here? Bills have had kind of a reality check. I know they played well on Thanksgiving, but a couple things stopped me from that thought. Bills have a long week. It's Monday Night Football for Mac Jones, and it's in Buffalo. It's going to be 30-mile-per-hour winds. So I love the Pats as underdogs, but it's a stay away. I think it's just such a good game. Like you can just watch it and not have any money on it and enjoy it and learn a lot. Yeah, I'm staying away. If you had to pick a side, where would you go?
So this one, I'm leaning Patriots. Now, uh, this is kind of similar to how the Packers were underdogs at home last weekend, right? It's a team that's very good, very hot, arguably one of the best in the league, and somehow they're getting points. Like I know the Bills are the Bills, but the Bills haven't been the Bill. They're not the Bills they were last season. I mean, um, and you got to think if anyone's going to draw up a game plan, like even if it's inclement weather, you would have to think Bill Belichick would draw up a game plan and be able to handle things.
Yeah.
I still may flip flop and change my mind on that because it is Monday night game, but I'm leaning Patriots in the points. All right, that's Football Friday. Kind of. Now we're going on to Football Friday Part 2, which is college football. It is championship week, so a lot of championship games, and there's a couple games that don't really matter worth anything, but nonetheless, we got 2 games tonight. Dizz, Western Kentucky versus UTSA. Western Kentucky 3.5-point favorites. I'm not doing anything here. And you gonna be crazy and take this game?
I have no idea. No,
Okay.
no, I'm out.
Oregon versus Utah. Utah 2.5-point favorites at home. This is another one where I'm probably staying away. It will be a good game, I think. I believe this is the Pac-12 championship game.
It's neutral, right?
Yes, it is neutral site. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna stay away. I don't follow the Pac-12 enough to be honest with you.
Yeah. I think it'll be a good game. I lean Oregon just because the turnover margin battle. Oregon actually had won that, so in a close game, a turnover here or there could be the difference.
Hmm.
All right, going to tomorrow, we got the MACtion, the MAC championship game. Kent State versus Northern Illinois. Kent State 3.5-point favorites at a neutral site. Both teams can score. Neither can play defense, but Kent State is a little bit better defensively, and they have a huge advantage in the turnover margin, 1.4 turnovers per game. So I'm going with Kent State minus 3.5. Anything for the action, Diz?
What's the do you know the point total? Because you said neither of these teams can play defense. I would love to rip like an over 88 or some
I was
shit
gonna
like
say I
that.
think it's like 75. So you might look at taking the over 75.
I love that. I may do that.
Yeah. Big 12, Baylor versus Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State 5.5 point favorites. So first off, these teams played earlier this season, and Oklahoma State won by 10. I do think Oklahoma State wins and covers this, but I have some skin on Oklahoma State winning the national championship, thanks to Dirty Mike with his suggestion on some futures picks a couple weeks back. So if Oklahoma State wins here, they probably make the CFP. So to hedge that, I'm taking Baylor plus 5.5.
You need Bama to lose though, don't you?
Bama is also a big factor, which we will get to here shortly.
If Bama wins,
Then
then
both Bama and
the
Georgia
final
are in.
you need Michigan to lose at that point.
Well, I also have a Michigan, I also have a Notre Dame, and I also have a Cincinnati. So, no, but here,
Are you gonna?
Dirty Mike made a very compelling point. It was before the Michigan game, or Michigan Ohio State game, and all that other nonsense. And he said, take Notre Dame, Oklahoma State, Cincinnati, and Michigan to win the national championship. They were all at plus 4,000 odds or worse. Okay?
Mm.
So now, if Bama loses this weekend, then we could have 3 of the 4 college football playoff teams in there at plus 4,000 or higher odds.
Wow.
So I know it sounds crazy, but there's a chance, and shout out Dirty Mike for that suggestion. But I'm hedging pretty much.
Shout out Dirty Mike.
I'm pretty much hedging all of those bets this weekend. I don't know how much I'm putting on them just yet, but I am definitely putting something on them.
Love it.
You got a side on Baylor Oklahoma State, Diz?
I like Baylor plus 5.5. That's just my instincts. College or like conference championship games are typically way closer than they should be. Like other than like Ohio State dominating in the Big Ten, which we don't have that this year. I think conference championships are typically really close. So I love the 5.5. And neutral field's everything. I mean, Oklahoma State won at Oklahoma State, correct?
I do not know. I think that is correct.
I think it was a home game.
I believe you are correct.
So yeah, I'm riding the underdogs, all conference championships.
That's a safe bet, and I'm actually seeing that a lot. But we'll move on. Utah State versus San Diego State. San Diego State 6.5 point favorites. I'm taking San Diego State minus 6.5 because San Diego's defense is second to none, and that's all I got for that one.
I have nothing. Yeah, you go with that.
Okay.
I'm confident in you, Patty.
Appalachian State versus ULL, the Raging Cajuns. Appalachian State is 2.5 point favorites. And Diz, I'm taking my Raging Cajuns plus 2.5 for one reason and one reason only.
What is that?
Their coach, Billy Napier, is going to coach Florida. But unlike that scumbag Brian Kelly, he is staying to coach this game. The team is going to give him one last game of greatness before he moves on. Give me the Raging Cajuns plus 2.5.
Love it. Love a sentimental victory.
Oh, yeah. And I cannot emphasize how much I hate Brian Kelly.
Wow.
Notre Dame might make the CFP, and he left to go coach LSU.
He knows Notre Dame's not going to make the CFP. He needs 2 of the 3 to happen. He needs Michigan to lose, he needs Bama to lose, and he needs Oklahoma State to lose. He needs 2 of those 3 to happen.
If Cincinnati loses, then they could also get in that way too. So
Then he would need Oklahoma State to lose. Oklahoma State would get in ahead of Notre Dame if Cincinnati lost.
I think if Cincinnati loses and then Bama loses and then Oklahoma State or Michigan loses, I mean, I think they're in. I think that Notre Dame is like right on the outside looking in, and I think if Bama loses and then a couple of those other teams lose, I think they have a chance.
Hmm.
But anyways, moving on. This is the game most people are talking about, and we've already touched on it briefly. Georgia versus Alabama. Georgia 6.5 point favorites. And Diz, I'm taking Bama in 6.5 because
Easy.
I mean, for the main part, it's
Easy.
because the Dirty Mike futures are in play here. If Bama wins, then both Bama and Georgia make it into the CFP, making it so I probably only have 2 of the 4 in the CFP as my futures bet. But if Bama loses and Georgia makes it in, and maybe 3 of my teams in the futures have it, so I'm hedging with Bama and the points. You may even look at taking Bama money line. I mean, this is a typical game where Bama comes out of nowhere, even though they're maybe not playing their best football, and ends up winning this game.
When was the last time Bama was favored by this many points? I was probably in middle school.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a minute. I'm going to take it. I'm not going to overthink it. If Georgia wins by more than 6.5, you got to take Bama as 6.5 point dogs. You have to.
Yep, I agree. Houston at Cincinnati. So Cincinnati 10.5 point favorites. And this is one of the few games this weekend that is not at a neutral site. This is actually at Cincinnati. For the record, I do think 10.5 is too many points. But once again, I'm hedging, so I'm taking Houston plus 10.5.
I'm gonna stay away.
Yeah. Yep.
Because if Cincinnati wins this game by 30 points, it's a statement. But then again, I could see it being like they're down with 2 minutes left and they have to lead a drive to keep their chances alive. I could see it going either way. And I don't follow these smaller conferences enough to know what's going to happen. I just feel like something wonky is going to go on in this game.
Yep. All right. Pittsburgh versus Wake Forest. Pittsburgh 3.5 point favorites. I have no reason to hedge here, so you'll get my true pick, and I am going with Wake plus 3.5. More than anything else, I just like getting the 3.5. I like getting the field goal. I think this will be a close game that'll be decided by a field goal either which way, so I'm liking Wake plus the 3.5.
I know nothing. I'll ride with it. I love an underdog over 3.
Okay, now it is the game that you probably know about, and you're going to talk about Michigan versus Iowa here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Michigan 10.5 point favorites. And hand up, Harbaugh proved me wrong last week. He won the big game. But where does that leave him now? He basically has big games in at least back-to-back games, if not the next 3 or 4 games. I need to see consistency. I think that Michigan pulled out all the stops that they had against Ohio State to get that one win in that big game. And now I don't think they have anything left. I think they used all their energy last week, all their game plan, all that stuff. I do think Michigan wins this game, but I think not by 10 points. So I like Iowa plus 10.5.
Yeah, and I think it just screams like emotional victory, reality check.
Yeah.
And Iowa, man, they have a good defense. It'd be one thing if these were 2 like high-powered offenses going against each other, I could see 10.5 points to the better team. But these are pretty much 2 high-powered defenses. And granted, Michigan put up 42 against Ohio State. They entirely ran the ball that whole game. I don't think you can do that 2 weeks in a row by just running the ball. I'm entirely with you. I think Michigan finds a way to win, but 10.5 is too many points for a conference championship. Iowa's going to fight, man. They are. And I think this screams like before they dominated Ohio State, Michigan was like the 4th best team in the Big Ten. So I don't even want to think about Michigan in the CFP just yet. They need to prove it with Iowa, I think.
Yep. Agreed. All right, Diz, the final game, USC at Cal. Cal 4.5 point favorites at home. There's been a lot of news surrounding USC this week with Lincoln Riley leaving Oklahoma to go there. To be frank, this game doesn't matter. It's not a championship game. This is a makeup game due to COVID from earlier in the year. Neither team is making a bowl game, but I like Cal to win and cover, leaving USC with no more good news this week.
Yeah, I got nothing. I'm with you.
I mean, this game, there's no reason to bet this game other than just a chance of making like another dollar, right? The game doesn't matter. There's no implications. It's just another game you can bet on, pretty much.
Hey, every game is worthy of betting on.
Well, maybe. All right, let's talk
Except the
about.
Falcons. That was a test.
Oh,
That was a test, and you failed.
son of a gun! I should have known. I should have known. All right, Dizz. Dumbest Dummy Competition. Shout out to Connor for winning November. He kind of killed us. I actually came in last because I decided to place 4 bets on the last day and ended up losing all 4. So, but we did all finish positive in the Dumbest Dummy Competition for November. So shout out to us. And we also ended up positive for best bets for the group. So it was a good month for us.
Beautiful.
Do you want to start us off with your Dumbest Dummy picks of the night, Diz?
Yeah, I would love to. Alabama plus 6.5, already touched on it. Iowa plus 10.5, already touched on it. Look, underdogs in conference championship games are always the way to go. My balls probably hadn't dropped the last time Alabama was an underdog by 7 points. I'm hammering that. That's my most confident pick ever. I have quadruple units on that. Iowa plus 10.5, just touched on it, but you gotta love 11 points in a conference championship game, and I think Iowa's got a good defense that, after seeing what they did to Ohio State, will be prepared and will put up more of an effort against the run. Then I got the NFL teaser, Dolphins to +2 against the Giants, Washington football team +7 against the Raiders, and then the Niners +3 against Seattle. I'm entirely out on the Seattle team. I know Deebo Samuel got hurt, but Seattle's been looking really good as of late. You tease them to get 3 points against Seattle. I'm going to take that. Get that value at +130, all 3 of those hitting. And then I have to get some juice, not a lot of risk taking right there. So to get some juice, my 4th dummy pick is an underdog parlay, Washington football team money line, and then Pat's money line against the Bills. Briefly touched on it. Just kind of want action in that game, so I'm probably going to watch most of it. Those combined are +362. So those are my 4 picks. Feeling dangerous heading into December. I had a great November, even though I didn't win the Dumbest Dummy competition. I feel like I'm due.
Yeah, certainly. All right, so I'll get into mine, Diz. These are all related to the NBA, and they're all happening tonight. It is Friday, so that means there is the First Basket Friday FanDuel promotion. For every, you bet $25+ on someone to make the first basket, and then every 3-pointer hit in that game, you get $1 back up to $25. So, who did I pick for this? I picked DeAndre Ayton of the Phoenix Suns +550. So I like this game the most because I feel like both teams will hit 25 threes combined. So it's the Suns and it's the Warriors. So I looked at the tip-off matchup. DeAndre Ayton wins 67% of his tips compared to 43% of his opponent. And then Golden State has let the center score first 8 times this season, and that is 3 more than any other position. So I'm liking DeAndre Ayton first basket tonight, +550.
Love it.
Now this one, Diz, this is the one where you might shit on me, but it's okay. We're rolling with it anyways. New Orleans Pelicans money line versus the Dallas Mavericks at +215.
Love the value. I don't know anything about these teams. I don't know why I would be shitting on you.
I have been a noted fader of the Pelicans this season, especially without Zion. Zion did start practicing, but he's not back in the lineup yet. But I do think that the Pelicans have a chance to shock the world here. So Porzingis isn't playing for the Mavs tonight, so no Porzingod for the Mavericks. But also, these teams played 2 nights ago, and the Mavericks won by 22 points, Diz.
Wow.
So that's where I was kind of expecting the thing. But Porzingis played in that game, so that's number 1. He scored 20 points. Also, the Mavericks had an incredible shooting night. The Mavericks shot 69% from the field, including 53% from three. If you revert their shooting numbers back to the mean, to their average for the season, they would have scored 99 points, which would have lost them that game against the Pelicans. And the Pelicans actually shot exactly their average last game. So I think the combination of no Porzingis and the team reverting back to the mean in shooting, I think the Pelicans can win outright tonight, giving them at plus 215.
Love it.
I will probably be the only person in the world taking the Pelicans money line tonight. I can assure you that.
I bet you're not. Can I hammer the money that you're not the only person that took the Pelicans money line tonight?
You find me a person that takes the Pelicans money line tonight without you like saying, "Hey, you need to take the Pelicans money line tonight," and then I'll give you $1.
I have some pretty degenerate coworkers. I'm gonna send a group text real quick.
Okay, that's fine. Or even check chalkboard, whatever. But if you can give me proof that that's happening, then I'll give you $1. We're talking big money.
Oh.
All right, and then my final dumbest dummy bet, I'm going Jason Tatum over 37.5 points plus assists at plus 630. So I took an alt line here. So if you go in on FanDuel, you go to player combos, you go to Jason Tatum player or points plus assist alternate lines. I took over 37.5. So Jaylen Brown is out tonight for the Celtics. And in Tatum's last 3 games played without Brown in the lineup, he has cleared this line. So I'm thinking he has another big night tonight. So I'm liking Jason Tatum over 37.5 points plus assists. All right, Diz. Best bets for the group. I think we should go with. I like the Iowa plus 10.5.
Okay.
Do you want to do Bama plus 6.5 as well?
I do.
Okay.
Those are my only 2 I was gonna offer.
And then what about Washington football team plus 1.5?
Is the money line within the range? Because if the money line is within the range, I think we take money line.
Let me pull up. Let me check. Washington football team. NFL. It is. It is plus 110. So you want to do money line there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry, Connor. If these suck, it's because you weren't here to talk us off of some of these bets that we like. All right, Diz. Then I have 2 2 Hail Mary parlays of the day for you. Do you want the multi-sport or do you want the same game parlay of the day?
Same game first.
All right, same game. I'm going for that Pelicans Mavericks game. This is $1 to win $120.45. Luka Doncic over 28.5 points. Luka Doncic under 8.5 rebounds. And then my boy Jonas Valanciunas over 17.5 points. Valanciunas over 11.5 rebounds. Valanciunas over 2.5 assists. And then Valanciunas over 0.5 threes. He just needs to hit 1 3. And then Dorian Finney-Smith over 9.5 points. Finney-Smith over 4.5 rebounds. And Smith over 1.5 threes. All right, Des. Then the multi-sport Hail Mary parlay of the day. $1 to win. How much are you thinking? This is
how many
14,
games? How many sports? How many?
14 legs, 2 sports. NHL, NBA. We have 5 NHL legs tonight.
Ooh. $1 to win 1,791.
$1 to win $3,262.60.
Oh,
it is juicy tonight.
Wow.
All right, we'll start in the NBA. Heat plus 5.5 versus the Pacers. I just had to go with the Heat. I had to. I know Bam's out. I know Butler's out, but I saw too many people liking the Pacers. I'm kind of fading the public here, and I know this Pacers team better than most, and I don't trust them.
I'm with you. This caught my eye, too.
Cavs plus 3 versus the Wizards. Timberwolves plus 7.5 versus the Nets. Hawks minus 1.5 versus the 76ers. Magic plus 3 versus the Rockets. Pelicans plus 6.5 versus the Mavericks. Jazz -8.5 versus the Celtics, Warriors -7 versus the Suns, and Lakers -2 versus Clippers. And then in the NHL, I got Rangers money line versus the Sharks, Jets money line versus the Devils, Golden Knights money line versus Coyotes, Flames money line versus the Ducks, and Oilers money line versus the Kraken. So there you go, Diz. Anything you need to get off your chest before we send these lovely people into a weekend?
I think we send these lovely people into the weekend, Patty. I wish I had something for you, but I don't. Let's get some winners.
Absolutely. Let's get some winners. I don't know about everyone else. It's been a long week for me at work. So use this weekend to kind of recuperate, re-energize yourself. You know, we're coming down the home stretch in some of these sports. And you know, the holidays are right around the corner. So let's build up some bankrolls. Let's hit some winners and get some money flowing for the holidays. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you check us out on Twitter and Instagram at SportsBet by Dumb. And check us out on YouTube. You can watch us live on YouTube at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, Thursday, and Friday. You just search for Sports Betting by Dummies on the YouTube channel or on YouTube. Filter by channel. We should be that first one up there. Look for the black and yellow logo. But thank you all for listening. Hope you have a long, profitable weekend, and we will see you on Monday.
Yeah.